Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcast for estate professionals who earn more, work less, and make a huge difference in their communities. If you get value out of this free content, be sure to check out ProbateMastery.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and valuable courses. To learn more, visit ProbateMastery.com. Now let's jump into this week's content.
So we'll go over kind of what I do with my letter system using AI and using a interval Excel sheet that tells me when a letter's due. And then go over the attorney events that I've been a part of that have helped me kind of get referrals. I'm actually up to, I think, 18 attorneys that have reached out, which is really good. And 9 of those attorneys, so half, have given me a referral. And one attorney has given me 2. So it's actually working out. But to start real quick, I don't remember who it was, but someone asked me, what would I do if I started today with probate, I believe. I was thinking of that a lot over the last 2 weeks of what, sales really comes down. Real estate is sales, no matter if you're selling probate, expireds, or buyer agent. Whatever kind of source you are going after, you eventually have to meet somebody and convince them to use you in the business. Sometimes it's an inbound call where it's a layup, where they will say, I already want to work with you. Where's the paperwork? I need to sign it. My last 6 listings, I have not even gone to the house to get the listing appointment assigned. I sign it online and then I go check out the house. So I love that transition a little bit. But if I was starting in probate, you can go to your local courthouse and do all that. We've already exhausted that effort. But with anything, you're going to have to spend money. So my thing was that if you're broke and you are starting in probate, you have to figure out how to get rid of some expenses so that you could add an expense to generate a quicker lead, speed to the lead in the contact. So yes, going to the courthouse every day or every 3 days to get the new probate filings and bug the ladies at the courthouse, or you do it online, copy and paste to an Excel sheet, all the data you need to skip trace to get a phone number, email address, or a good address for the PR. That should be on the record. You're going to want to do that. But I would find some expenses that you don't need and invest in one, I would say at least 4 counties, depending on how big your county is. We do 13 counties now. Is it 13? Maybe 9. 9 counties, and it's $2,200 a month for the leads, just the leads. You'll see how this works out for me, though. I guess this will be on YouTube. I don't really want all my numbers on YouTube, but so I pay for the leads, and then we mainly focus on letters out the door. So let me share my screen. I wrote up, I'm writing up a chapter in my book, so I'm going to share it with y'all. This is going to go along with our manual that we're writing because I've developed a software thing to get our letters out and not to drop any contacts. And that's what this is. I can't show it very long, else Google will take down the video. So it's an Excel sheet that divides up the contacts into the lead sources that we want to have the right conversations with. So you're going to want to buy leads, and then you're going to want to separate those probate leads into categories. The top 5 or the top 6 are these. You got your vacant properties. You're not going to know which ones are vacant unless you're driving around and or you're getting mail back that says vacant on it from the mail carrier. But that's our number one lead source, number one source that we want to know if the house is vacant. That doesn't mean they're selling the house. They may be in between tenants. They may be in between getting a loan. It just gives us a higher sense of priority to go after a vacant property on the probate list. And there's things when you're on other appointments, if you're going to an expired, cancel, or you're driving buyers around, there's a deal machine app that you could buy for $1,400 a year. And it's really easy to click the houses on the street that are distressed. and it builds a list fairly quickly. I have a list of 12,000 contacts on there now that we'll send a postcard every 6 months to. I don't like postcards for any other contact other than a mass mailing campaign, like a SOI or a neighborhood or driving for dollar list. Something has to be too big to send a personal letter to. So don't get in the weeds of that. A postcard will not work generally for probate unless you've already established some type of authority or influence on them. That gives you a little example of that. The next source is the PRs out of the area. We get, let's see here, I'll pull up my prime list. I can't leave it on there very long. My prime list, most of the people that call me in probate, and I would love to figure out how the local ones do and the same address people, but they don't really reach out because they already know somebody in the area or have a family member that's in real estate. Most of my leads comes from the vacant properties or the PRs that are out of the area. And we make cash offers to them, instant offers, home valuation offers, and just real estate advice. I'll pull up one of my letters in a minute, show you. Well, let's just do that now. Now, most of these, I have probably 150 letters. They're just different examples of stories and different offers mixed in. And I used AI. I used Chat GPT to mix and match my letters to make them make sense. And then as the system gets to know you and your language pattern, they don't misspell things for me, but I misspell things all the time. It corrects that stuff. But in the beginning, I noticed when I was using AI that it would use words that weren't in my vocabulary. Now I've been using it, and I subscribe. It's $19 a month. I have an account with him, and it seems like the letters are more my language pattern now. That's just the growth of the knowledge of that. So for PRs out of the area, I have 9 letters that go to them in an interval system. My system is Savvy Letters. I do sell this system, but I want you to be sending a high level mail. I don't want to give you the system and then you tell me it doesn't work because you can't keep up with the amount of mail. You've got to be at probably, I'd say 4,000 letters a month to make it work. Because that's going to get you most likely, I want to say one good lead, one good contract every 2,000 letters you send. And if you match it up with calls, I'm going a little hit on myself. So if you're brand new, you have strengths. You have strengths and you know them, you know your weaknesses and you know your strengths. My strength is actually making the phone call, but I've gotten away from that because I wanted to improve my letter writing. And I love the inbound call that comes from letters over making an outbound call to somebody that doesn't really need me yet. Same with social media. So if you're brand new in this, you're probably going to want to make those calls. And then you're going to separate the leads like this into PRs out of the area. And you'll send one letter to them every 30 days. And there's not that many out of 1,100 leads I get a month. There's probably 30 in each county that I buy, maybe 25 in each county. So if you're only buying 1 to 3 or 4 counties from a lead source, U.S. probate leads or AllTheLeads, or you're going to the courthouse getting your own or online if they have an online portal, you're gonna separate them. And this is just an example. I'll scroll through so you could watch the replay on YouTube. This is just the first letter is just giving my authority. I'm not even asking for anything, I don't believe. I'm just condolences. Keep my card handy. We've done 250 sales in probate, 1,500 completed sales in regular real estate. Reaching out, in the end, close quickly. So I am making an offer in this first letter, but I'm really showing the value of what I've done. And this is my USP. If the property is going to be sold, there's no reason to go through the entire court confirmation process. Actually, I just added here I could put the court, the county court in this place, which I'll add that in a minute. I've been going back to edit my letters and run up extra attorney costs, miscellaneous fees, and then pay 6% commissions. In today's world, I go on the appointment, I only quote a 3% commission or 3.5% commission if I'm going to list it as is, which most of these properties need to be sold as is with no recommendations of repairs. I just always recommend the seller disclose anything that they know about the property, any HOA repairs, or if it's a condo, or if it's a house that there's a claim with a roof, something major. I always inform them now that the commissions are not in MLS, is that you're going to get offers from other agents. That's just a little tip for you to get the listing signed, so you don't have to say 6 or 7% commission anymore. Whatever you offered, I don't know. You may offer $500. I don't know. And then I put a little quote here on my letters, just about generational, our legacies and how not to be forgotten. It's just to touch base with them, and I have 9 versions of that letter, 9 times to them, and I know that they're going to call me around the fourth or fifth letter if they're going to sell a property, because in most of our counties, they're going to be able to get the letters of testamentary or the monument of title to sell a property in Texas. So I ramp up the offers in my template 5, and I just say no repairs, closing on your terms, 0 closing cost. And all these letters are for sale through Bruce's system. I have 28 different styles of lead sources that we send out, but the majority of them they're pretty much the same. You're just talking to a certain type of client, and you're cross-referencing the property. So if you have a property that's in probate, it's probably going to be behind on taxes. You're probably going to have code violations of that same house. It may be a burned house, and then you send the attorney a letter. Not with I don't include the client name on the attorney letter. I just ask for them to, if their client reaches out to them, would you please say something good about me since I've been marketing to you for over 2 years? So it's just something to cross-reference and that influence. So if someone's checking on somebody with either reviews online, videos online, or the attorney, if you're top of mind with the attorney and they say, hey, Dave Pannell's been sending me letters, maybe they'll just say, hey, he's a good guy. And that just happened. I just got a deal closed 2 weeks ago, and we actually bought the house. I already sold it. I double closed on it and sold it to somebody. The attorney didn't want me to do an assignment, so I just double closed on it and sold it to one of my buddies that's going to remodel it.
I'm just confused how you organize all of it. In the, I am looking at it like, oh my gosh, I wish
Hey
I could.
Lou, can we maybe, you're gonna have to, I'll show you my letter system, but Lou's gonna have to figure out a way out to just black it out or to unfocus it, and I'll show you what I do with my letters. And we've been working on this system since August, and I've been wanting to build it because my plan, here's my plan here. In a perfect world, the goal is to maximize your at bats. What I mean by that, the chances of someone going to do business with you. As many opportunities as possible to generate inbound phone calls. Your best lead, your layup, is going to be someone calling you, most likely to do business with you. Yes, they are probably going to call other investors in or other realtors, but the other realtor is going to be a part-time realtor, most likely, a family friend, or they're going to call some other investor that looks like a 20-year-old kid. So if I think I had that beat by being in the business so long and declaring what I've sold and the knowledge of the probate. But I don't always beat the other people. Sometimes I take the offer. I just closed a house the other day or Friday. We just funded yesterday. He went through 2 realtors and they did not sell the property over 2 years. It's in probate still. And he finally reached out and said, would I take the deal? And he wanted me to go up on price. And I said, no, sir, I want to go down. And we listed it $50,000 below what the other agent listed for, but we sold it for $30,000 more than list price in 3 days. And I got him a reduced lien amount on solar panels by half. It went down from 26,000, more than half, to 12,400. And that's very rare, but the solar panels were never connected to the battery. There was never a battery source installed. So the cost in running the system, they don't know what happened. They just had to cover their costs for the solar panels. So it took 45 days to get that answer from them. But back to this, we are currently scaling up to 12,000 letters a month. You do not have to do this many letters. This is sending out 750 per contractor every week. And I have one that is an overachiever, my mom. She does 15 to 2,000 letters a month. She's 83 years old and she kicks ass like no one else, and she brags about it. She's like, I'm worth 3 employees. Yeah, I know you are. So with 3 for y'all to do, it's probably 3 people at 750 a week, or just 750. 750 letters is not bad, and you could do that yourself. We did it for a number of years at 750, 1,000 a week. It takes little or no time to stuff envelopes after you print the letters. But for years, we did template letters with no personalization, no name on it, just a blanket letter. We want to buy your house. I haven't seen a lot of improvement on numbers, but I've seen more uptick in listings taken. We've so far, the first quarter, the first 4 months of the year, we've grossed a little over $50,000 a month, which is impressive. And that's 19 closed deals in probate. 19 closed deals in probate. That's incredible. My goal is always to do 50 in the calendar year, and we'll probably exceed that. As of right now, we could probably do 80 this year, which is great. And we're going to start adding in other lead sources again that we don't have, because it was just too difficult. I'm making a system where I could just on Monday go print all my letters and then hand them off to the people sending them. But so the goal is to have a contract every 3,000 letters sent. That's 1 letter per employee, per contractor. Typically, we see 1 contract every 1,900 to 2,000 letters. So it's either your sales message on your letter, it's too in general or too much the same, or you're just not sending enough letters. So we're going to figure that out, because I want to get our average deal size is $17,000, and 17 times 4 is 68K. We're sitting at about 44 to 50,000 gross revenue a month right now. It does vary, but its normal means about 2K per day per calendar month. For 25, I already said that. So what we do is we send out 3 versions of our letter. I have Dave Pannell, broker, Cities Real Estate, veteran real estate broker, 3 decades in real estate. I got that from Chad Corbett. He said you should change it from 30 years to 3 decades. Everybody gets a letter for 18 letters within 18 months, according to the lead type. Disclaimer, it changes all the time. We just want to get as much letters in front of somebody, like the PRs out of the area. Initially 9 letters, and then they go to a list of 21 letters from non-responsive. And that goes over 2,500 days every 90 days. So they never get dropped. My wife's letters, she's a very attractive female woman, and people call her just because of that. They want to talk to her, but unfortunately, they talk to me because she doesn't answer the phone. And then we have our corporate brand, which is Just Cash Out, and we can franchise this if y'all want. We haven't figured that part out yet, but we will. This is just the instant cash offers. Let me bring up a postcard. It's a semi-postcard I put in the letter. This is the one that goes in my 4th and 5th version of the letters for all the probate, and then it changes colors. I take my picture off in my name, and it just becomes a corporate brand for Just Cash Out. But all the calls come to me, and I answer every call, and if I get on the appointment within 30 minutes to an hour, I will be at that house. I could tell you pretty much what I'll pay for any house 5 minutes from being in that property. I've been doing this long enough that after a certain amount of houses and remodels, you'll know those numbers better than anybody. I've never not closed on a property in any situation. I've never backed out of a property. I always make a deal, even if I only make $500. I'm never going to back out and leave the seller stranded, even if I'm too high. Natalia, Kelly, Miss Kelly,
Oh, Natalia, I'm sorry.
Natalia. Sorry.
Yes, I've been.
Oh,
So
you're doing other stuff.
well, right now just a cold calling, some mailing, not much.
Okay.
My question was, how many, is it the once a week letter going, or there is a little bit bigger gap between the letters?
So the settings are, like I said, we change this all the time. I do immediate letter to the people, like for people with the same address every 57 days for 3
Oh,
letters for 180 days. And then it goes to our non-responsive.
okay.
Our non-responsive is just storytelling of successful sales we've had. For local area PRs, I know they have a friend or a family member in real estate,
Mm-hmm.
or I know that they're going to just want to rent the house out or remodel it themselves because they're here locally. Why not? So they're a little bit longer conversion if they're going to
Mm-hmm.
sell the property. And then you have your out of area PRs, which every 10 days they're going to get a letter from me for 9 letters. And then they're
Okay.
going to go to non-responsive. It doesn't say, oh, you're not responding. It's just a storytelling of successful people in their situation. It's really a catch-all. The non-responsive is a catch-all. Once they make this list, Lou, you're going to have to do some blackout on this. I'll show you guys. So our non-responsive list is, these are all probates that have been through our system and got letters, and they're on a list because they haven't responded. Every 90 days they're going to get a letter, but I have 3,100, so 3,173. So let's just divide that by 90, and that increases all the time, or it decreases too as people call in and say that they're not going to sell the house or whatever. Don't get confused on the data. That's all done by somebody else. I don't even look at it. We have a tool here. So I guess it's just 35 letters a day. So 35 times 7 is what? 250 a week on non-responsive. But this is how I do it. So I hired a guy on Upwork and they designed me an Excel sheet that I could upload my probate files, my CRM leads, all the attorneys I meet. Actually, I bought the list of attorneys, 2,700 attorneys from the association I joined for $250. So now I have all their contacts in my CRM and I'm giving them an update on the market every quarter. But back to probate. So I come in here and we're going to make this where it triggers on its own real soon. Once we figure out all the bugs, you come in here and you hit probate. This is so advanced, y'all. So if you're not sending 4,000 letters, please don't ask me to install this in your Google Drive. So it'll produce, it may have an error message so I'll come in here and just trigger it takes about 10 minutes. But what it does, it produces letters for me. Like this morning, is it the 29th today?
Yes.
So it produced local out of area. So it may not have any today. So it just tells me what letters I need to send. So you could tell, like, we not send one to Abigail. So that's just a letter. That's the first letter I showed you guys. And then
That's
you have,
already named by the recipient.
yes, I send a
Oh,
letter to the PR and the PR, but the descendant's address. So this is letter number 3. There's 2 thoughts on letters, on sales letters, and you can be very ugly in appearance or very crisp and polished. So our just cash out letters are going to be kind of ugly letters, not being ugly language wise, but more just kind of distress type letter. And you see how we make them personal by putting the descendant address in here, the name, and then I think on this would be a good example of a courthouse. Yeah, see, I added the Tarrant County Courthouse here. And that's part of the personalization, those codes we use, those settings in here. So I will eliminate that since that gives you an idea. You have, the placeholders. So they have all these placeholders. And we just added the county so that I could add that to the letters. It just adds it more in depth. Nobody in my market is sending something that personal. I can guarantee you.
Oh, yeah.
I
That's,
bet 9 out of 10 people are sending those checks that they sell you from REI and say, I'll offer you this amount. And you know, every house I go to, they laugh at those checks. So if you're investing in that, maybe it works. I don't know. I was thinking about adding it just to test it. Any questions right now?
as the, remember we started it, if you would start all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, we went way too advanced. So the question is, so if you start over again, where do you start with the limited funds available to
You
your
got to be
disposal?
honest with your preferences and your personality.
Okay,
So if you're not strong on phone calls initially, maybe you work on that.
okay.
That's going to be the biggest cost savior is just making the calls. If you're buying the leads or skip tracing the leads, the
Mhm,
probate PRs, just call them. You're going to reach probably 3 out of 100 people that want to talk to you,
mhm,
and they're not going to be ready to sell the house yet unless you know the unless you know how to petition the court to separate the real estate from the probate, which is in
mhm.
Texas, it's a affidavit of heirship if all the heirs are on the same page. It's a monument of title or a petition for a ghost, a quiet suit if the title's messed up. And that
Oh,
I always offer to pay for that, which is about $2,000. Yeah, but you're not paying for it until the end of the closing. So just, you know, if you're gonna
oh,
make money on the deal, always
oh,
be
yeah.
flexible.
So pretty much know your
Yeah,
probate
know your
class.
strengths. So yeah, let's get
Okay.
back to that. So calling, if you're trained in real estate with scripts and you've
Mhm,
hired coaches before and you want to start making calls and you're listening to Bruce's lead or structure, try it. Just don't give up on it.
mhm,
Try to make 100 calls a day through a list.
mm, okay,
Try to contact 20 people a day.
okay.
And then you get into, do I text message them or do I leave a voicemail? That's up to you. Don't try to get too granular with that. Just try to call people if you
Mhm,
had no money. And then if you had a little bit of money and success, separate the PRs into the out of area, the local,
mm,
the vacant houses, or you're not gonna know the vacant until you send mail. Or drive by, but it's a waste of time to drive by. Or same address. And then you may decide that you're more of a Pooh Bear, basically, and you want to call the same address people. They really don't want to talk to you because they either lost a son, daughter, or a spouse in that property. And the chances of you having a good conversation with them is probably low. But don't let that discourage you. If you don't have any real estate transactions and you're dirt broke, do it. The other thing is social. So if you're going to have a list of these PRs eventually, you're going to have a lot of data eventually. And in most cases, you're going to have probably 1,000 people that you could put into social retargeting. And if you're good on video, or if you want to practice on video, don't have to be perfect. You just have to be there, be present. They're going to call you when they're ready. So you may consider making one video short every day and just post on YouTube or Facebook, and then take your top 5 videos that are being viewed and run ads against them for the minimum amount per day, or your top viewed video and run $30 a day or $10 a day on that on a credit card until you get a transaction. That's the best. Those are the 3 things you should be doing in probate is calling, sending minimum letters either to the people that you've talked to. If you don't follow up and you don't have strengths in following up with people, if you're always looking for the new deal, most of your money in probate is going to be following up with people that have already talked to.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding out.
In my system, my CRM, and you don't have to buy my CRM. If you're not going to use it, don't buy it. It's Sierra Interactive. I have 40 people that are in my pipeline to close or to do a contract. And
Mhm,
then I have 1,900 people that have signed up for home valuation request. And there's some buyers in there, obviously, but I don't work with any buyers. I don't spend any
mhm,
time showing a property unless it's an investor and it's my listing or it's a really close friend that I don't need to sign a contract with.
Mhm.
I am not going to waste any time with buyers. I cut that off in 2010 and it's been very successful. That gives you a reason to get on the calls every day to generate business and to build out a system. All this is what I've showed you is a systematic approach to getting inbound phone calls in. Just yesterday, I got a call from a guy passing through town. He lives in Louisiana and his brother passed away in the house. They don't know what to do. They did remove the body. I hate to say that, but they didn't do any cleanup after that. It just left the house. It's been 1 year. And I told him that I would pay for that service. I used to be a police officer, so I know exactly what to do with that. And it's about $5,000. I told them I'd pay for that if they'd sell me the house. Am I going to pay for that in advance? No, I'm just going to close on the house. And I'm going to demo the house, most likely. And then yesterday, I got another call from a contractor that is working for a guy that is in probate. He just inherited 13 houses. They're not all going to be deals because they are one lot next to each other where they're going to want a bigger amount for those. So they're what do you call it? Contingent or God, it's a C word.
Contiguous.
Continuous, yes.
Contiguous, yeah.
So there's a couple. There's 3 or 4 on the list that I was like, is there any? The question I asked him out of 13 houses, is there anything that you would let go now as a discount so that I could get working on a property? Either I will remodel it because it's a mile from my house. All of them are, or I'll just assign it to somebody that's looking in that area, or sell it for them. But then I make the offer: if you'll sell me a house, I'll list these other as a discount fee. You get leads in like that all the time. You just have to figure out how to best work it, and not to spend too much time on it. If it's not something you can list right away, or if you have to put a lot of effort if you have to put a lot of effort in getting zoning requests and going through the zoning board and getting the city council to approve stuff, then that's gonna a strategy where you talk to the seller and just explain. Most people think, oh, we could just go get the zoning changed. No, you can't. It's like a year and a half worth of work. So all those houses will be sold separately, most likely. But their mind frame right now is like, I just inherited all these houses next to each other. They're worth a lot of money because they are all single family homes, all single family zoning. But I want to sell them as multifamily. It's not going to work. So be cautious of that.
David, there's several questions in the chat, starting
Let's
with
go.
Katie. Yeah, Katie,
Okay.
she's asking, what are you using for the mailing? Katie, can you expand a little bit on your question?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just didn't know if you were using like direct print or you're printing them all in-house or whatnot, and were you stuffing them yourself or were you sending them to like Print Genie or something to do it for you?
Yeah, I don't go with any outside company at all. I control all my costs by having 2 printers, and the people that stuff envelopes they come and get the letters every week from us. My mom, I do hand deliver them to her because she has a problem driving at 83, but she has no problem stuffing envelopes, so I'll do that for her. Yeah, we've never outsourced our letters. I always hear problems with people not getting their letters out, or they're too in general. They're too much like everybody else's. I've customized every single thing I have, and Bruce and I have come up with a plan to sell each category to you. So if you just ask Bruce about it and Lou about it, they'll tell you how you get access to it.
Thank you. I had
Yeah.
another question about the leads. Do you take all the leads that you're getting and put them in your CRM, or do you just keep them in the spreadsheet first, or how do you do that?
Nope. Yeah. Once they're separated, I tag them with either what criteria they are, if they're attorney or same address or out of area. And then we send them, because I got their emails most likely. I don't know if it works or not. And we send them a market update report. And then I have them on a call list. I was going to start making calls again this week just because I want to see if I could, with all the personal letters I'm sending out, I'm wondering if that's going to help me convert more by having all these letters sent to people. And I think it's going to work.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's robust. That's what the guy building me the system says.
The next question is from your Georgia homegirl. How long have you operated in the probate space?
Full time since 2017, and really really ramped it up in 2019, and it really helped to add assignments to the deal because a lot of people just don't want to hire realtors, even if you do it reduced fee, or there's just things that we have to disclose, and sometimes they don't want to do any kind of disclosures. They just want to sell the house or repairs.
Did you just say that you send all the attorneys quarterly a market update by email? Is that what you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
if I have their email and their permission, yeah. I don't really have their permission yet, but
Yeah, you do send them unsolicited and you haven't had too much pushback?
I haven't had an issue. Yeah,
Cool.
they've all liked the letters I've sent them, so it's really cool.
Oh,
I'm
you send a letter or an email?
a letter and an email, but I don't have a lot of emails from the attorneys. Out of 2,700 contacts, even their addresses, I got 200 letters back. So that's not bad. That's 10% of that list. So they're all getting a letter from me every 60 days, every quarter if they're just a appellate attorney, criminal attorney, civil attorney, because I'm trying to cross reference because they all know each other. So if one guy's doing criminal and he knows a probate attorney, then he'll refer me eventually. But they've been very cordial and very professional, and I think it's a great group of people to be involved with.
Okay, next question. How can I get this billed out? That's from AU. I'm not sure what that. If you could unmute yourself.
Yes, what I meant was how can I get the build out to send out the letters automatically, and just the whole build out within Google Sheets. I understand that you hired somebody to do this for you. Are you looking to sell this software out basically?
We are going to sell it, and eventually it's going to turn into an app, a Google app that we could do a monthly subscription to. I think I'm on to something, but right now we're looking for people to invest in the development of it. So I have 3 people that have paid me, and the cost is $5,000. And it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to get it all set up with your market. What market are you in?
I'm in New Jersey.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I'm trying to give it to people and not in. I've got one guy in San Antonio, Houston, me, Orange County, California, and then Charlotte. We just started installing it on all those guys' system, but the people in Charlotte have been running it since January. And everybody, we have a small group that we're figuring out the bugs, because as we add lead types, which all these lead types are, all 30 of these will be lead types for letters going out. It breaks the system quite often, but if you're flexible with that, it's a great thing to buy into.
Do you have to have that many lead systems, or you could just choose and pick?
Yes, definitely. You could turn things, we're gonna have it so you could turn things on and off. Yep. And you're gonna start with your top 5 probate. If you're buying probate leads, those are the ones you want to market to first to build up your bank account. Just because those are generally the best margin deals if they're distressed real estate. And they're good commission sales too. Most of the houses are paid off. They don't mind paying a commission to help you sell it if they hire you to do the listing. And the sales are generally 21 days long. It's very fast.
So are you showing up at the house as a realtor or as a cash buyer?
I'm doing both.
You,
And
you pick,
you know by qualifying the lead and keywords of asking questions.
Mhm.
If they want an appraisal, they want to have it on the MLS, they're going to tell you that. If they have 5 errors and the attorney is being a referee and telling them what to do, it's hard to get past that. So I don't fight it. But when you go into the disclosures of the repairs that we need to talk about, that usually contracts a little bit, and then you have an opportunity to offer a cash offer for the house. But you have to wear all the hats, especially pre-qualifying these people.
Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
David. So we have a few more questions in the queue. Do you use a system to verify numbers that are not on the do not call list?
I don't even worry about it. Just make the calls. I
Okay,
don't care.
and then let's
I'm
see.
not gonna, you gotta remember these people are, if they're inheriting property or being PRs, they're in the age range of 50 plus. They probably are on the do not call list, but if it's the way you handle the call, if you're going to be an automated system or hire a VA to make calls, then yeah, you probably need to verify your numbers, not call them.
For a question from Eva, are you only mailing or not calling? Do you have someone like an ISA calling for you?
Not on probate leads. I will not have anybody call my probate leads. Nope. It's
Okay.
I get plenty of spam calls daily, and I could tell automatically the people that are calling me with the little beep, or they always say the same script. And it's just not. I don't think anybody wants that phone call.
So David, that was my question. So it's heavy on the mailing, and then do
Yes.
you also email these leads? But you cold call them yourself also, and can your whole, I'm just trying to understand your whole
Yeah.
funnel.
I do not call as much as I used to. I will call after we get an inbound phone call, or text them. No mass texting and no mass calling. If I do make calls, it's only to the PRs out of the area. That's why I'm heavy on closings on those that type. You know, if you don't have money for letters, definitely make calls to every probate PR, because you're only going to reach about 5 to 3 out of 100. So if you have a list every month of 200, you're going to maybe reach 6, and then you probably get 1 or 2 deals from those 6 every month. But in most people's world, that's a very good income.
Awesome. And did you say that you email them as well, or just snail
Not until
mail,
we're in a
mostly
transaction.
snail mail? Okay.
Yeah, I put them
Great.
in my CRM, and it has a monthly or a quarterly or a 2-week or bi-week monthly market report
Hmm.
that it does automatic send it if they have an email, but I trigger my system to always be there as soon as I do get an email for them. I did get a call recently from a lady. She was wondering if the father that passed away already hired me as their realtor, because I was sending them market updates for his street and neighborhood. So it was very targeted. And she was like, "Has he already hired you? He had dementia and he went around just hiring anybody." I was like, I just explained to her, "No, ma'am. I get the information from the courthouse. It's all public record. And if I have an email, I'll send an email out to hopefully earn your business. Is that something I could do?" She said, "Yes, but I'm not out of probate yet. So call me back." So good. And that's a follow-up call.
Okay, thanks for that, David. Let's
Yep.
see, working down the list here. Um, from AU. So do you go to every lead? A new theory out there says to just make an offer over the phone.
I don't know, I always want to build rapport and see what their motivation is before I make an offer.
Okay.
So your offer may be to list the property or to help them in some way. An offer doesn't always mean to give them a cash offer. And I try to stay away from giving numbers over the phone, unless it's just going to be a digital transaction where I'll never going to meet them. That's going to be several conversations regardless. So the first conversation is just learning motivation and getting to know them.
Cam and Rigo, I see your hands up. I'm gonna get through the rest of the questions
Let me
here.
go. Give
Mhm.
me a second, real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. We have a tech here for one of our printers. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. So Pam asks, if you're building your own list, who do you recommend for skip tracing? And I wrote Propelio. Do you have anybody else?
I don't. Yeah, I haven't skipped trace the leads in a while. I get them from a good source that comes with a number. So that's another thing with paying good money for good leads, is that you don't have to spend. In the beginning, I did the same thing. I tried to save money, trying to buy a list here and then skip tracing it, and then you mix your list, and you got to figure out who to call. It's not worth it in the long run.
Then that leads into another question from Enzi. Have you used AllTheLeads mailing and their letters?
We did for a little bit, but it's all too templated for us. So everybody gets the same letter. So nothing bad about the company. You just want to get away from, if that's what you have to do in the beginning, do it. I think we did it for 6 months. We didn't get any calls inbound from those letters. And that's really, really odd. We get on average probably 2 to 7 calls a day off of our letters, and they're not all pleasant. Trust me. So probably half of those are pleasant. You have to deal with the ups and downs of this business.
Sorry, I skipped a question. From
I got some
Stephanie.
poison ivy too over the weekend, so my face is a little red and I'm
Oh
squinting a lot.
man.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did
that
some yard
sucks.
work.
Stephanie asks, so you just work with probate, no other niche?
I work with everything that we work with is to get cash offers out to people. So instant offers, cash offers, home valuations, anything. I got a list of this here. If y'all replay this video, I'm gonna do everything I can to get in front of people with distressed real estate. The one that I just learned was judges with that assign receiverships. That's just another arm to the business to work on. So I'm working on a list of addresses for judges to bypass their clerks. So I already have 2 people that have added me to their list to receive receiverships, which is good. Anything to do with distressed real estate, because it all commingles. If somebody's selling a house for sale by owner and it's less than 250 in our market, it's probably distressed. And if it doesn't sell over 125 days on the market or on their market, or 6 weeks for sale by owners, or expires or 120 days, it's probably distressed. So we want to always be, not that I mix them, match them up. I just want to get letters out to them. And we're not sending right now. Currently, we're not sending to all these people. The people that I'm sending to right now in my market is the vacant properties that come back, the PRs out of the area, attorney relationships, 3,000 attorney. No, shoot, you may have to block this, Lou.
Yeah, just go ahead and say block this part.
Yeah, block this part, Lou. Maybe black it out, but 2,200, 2,251 attorneys across all the counties we purchase for attorneys that do probate. And the cool thing about our system, that one guy that asked, so I give you a little, we could track on what attorney has for files open. So total, so like this one, bottom of the tier has 0 open. But as you go up, we could tell who has the most. I wouldn't recommend going after the attorneys with the most probates because they probably have a good system in order. I would go after the ones that have 3 to 5 probates open and go visit them if you're going to visit them in the office. But Jen, I have a list of almost 5,000 attorneys that I market to now. And when I started, my list was 300. And then for prime attorneys that have called us, is 22.
And you
So
bought that list, right? You mentioned that earlier?
I bought the list from the association, the members of the association. And of course, with the PRs, you buy, or you can show the screen again, Lou, from the cut, whatever the edit you do. Yeah, you buy the attorney memberships, they sell them, and they regulate how many times you can send mail to them. You have to pay them $50 every time you send a letter to them, and they will know. They've already billed me twice, which is fine. That's how they make their money. But the probate attorneys came from the probate filings attached to the attorneys. So I'm mailing every one of those 2,500 every 60 days. Now it could change to 90. It just depends on what I want to do.
Okay. There's a couple questions on templates and your letters. So I'll read those. I'll group them together and then you could answer both of them. Then we'll
Okay.
go to Cam after this. So this is a question from Cam. Can you drop your templates and or make a sheet where I could visually look at or understand you like the time of sending letters, the timing with the sending of letters to PRs and attorneys. And then NZ says, asks, could we hire someone to do the letters for us?
Yeah, you can always, I mean, that's what we do. You're going to want to, yeah, that's the hard part about letters, I guess, is that you got to grow it over time. You got to write your own letters. You got to program a mail merge so that you could, don't make it too hard. It's not that hard. Mail merge the name. So at least you're sending the mail to the PR Then you get a little more granular. You could send to the descendant address, the PR's name, which you'll get more calls from that descendant mailer, which I may tone down because you have the PR's name on it and it's going to a tenant or somebody that lives in the house that's part of the family, or someone that the family rented to that they will call and say, why you send me this letter? I'm not part of the probate, which is fine. We may just, right now we're sending a letter to them every time we send the PR a letter. Unless it comes back undeliverable, we'll take it off. But right now it's a lot of mail. So for the template question, Bruce is gonna, he's putting together a system to sell all my templates. Right now it's probably 150 letters, but you could buy just the out of area PRs and start there. They're pretty much all the same. But the conversation that you're having with these PRs are different from the ones out of state. You're having a conversation that you'll handle everything here. They don't need to call anybody. If they're going to take a cash offer, you're going to make everything easy for them. For local people, they're going to have someone that's going to be there to help them. They most likely know a realtor. They have a family member that was in real estate, or they want to deal with it themselves by renting the property. Just lean in on that conversation. I want to be your backup. If everything else fails, those are the ones that will most likely tell you they have everything solved, and they'll hang up on you. The same address people, those are going to be just home valuation requests, a CMA request. You may just send a letter saying, "Hey, I'm available if you want to just know the market value. If you want to reduce your tax burden, you want to do an affidavit of heirship, anything to help them transfer the name into their name." They most likely won't sell a house for 18 months to 5 years. The local people, they're going to probably struggle for 12 months after they get the letters of PR, after they get letters of testamentary and try to deal with the house. So we heavily target the PRs out of the area because we know they're going to need the most help. And generally on a list of 100, there's going to be probably 20 or 30 that are out of area, which everybody on this call can make 30 calls a day. There's no problem with that. And 30 letters. You could print the letters while you're calling them and sign them, hand sign them, and then put them in the mail. And you would be amazed on what your bank account looks like in 90 days.
Excellent. Go ahead, Cam.
So, good morning, guys. Well, good afternoon, I should say. So yeah, that was kind of my question. If was it possible to drop some templates just so I can just kind of have fun with it and rework it and send it? Because you're 100% right. Just I print my own stuff and stuff them myself and send them out now. But
Yeah.
now
Perfect.
at first I was just grabbing the list and sending them. Now I'm gonna kind of do it differently. I'm going to start calling first, and then the ones that don't answer or aren't receptive, I should say, then I'm going to send them letters and instead of just sending an abundance of letters at
That's
first.
fine too. I'm just sending too many letters to do that version.
Mhm.
I'd rather just send the mail, have the influence in their mailbox, and then if I have time to make calls. Right now, we just don't have time to make calls.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a blessing. It's a blessing after a while. So you're turning on the spigot, the funnel, and when the funnel gets a little lopsided, you're gonna have to change a little bit.
absolutely. And were you door knocking attorneys? Like, were you going in there, or were you just sending?
Not like you, brother. No,
Yeah.
I'm just mailing them and sponsoring their events.
Yeah, I've been doing the senior events, and it's kind of working.
Yeah.
Getting my name out there, but definitely the door knocking's helped.
Yeah, just walk in their office with something, pick 5 a week to go visit,
Mm-hmm.
or keep a master list of what use the time that you're going on an appointment, either to drive for dollars or if you're in a neighborhood, look up what attorneys are around there and just stop in and say hi. You're going to need more contacts than just one drive-by or pop-in. Most attorneys are going to refer business to their friends. They're not looking for another realtor or investor. They got plenty of y'all. So you're going to have treat it as a long game. Go visit them, send letters, sponsor their events. I think the highest level of my time spent is paying $600 for a lunch and presenting for 5 minutes in front of a group of attorneys that do probate every month. and there's usually 30 or 40 people in the classroom.
Yeah, because
That is my best. That is
like
my best use of time,
I gave
since the
myself a
classes are
goal of
within a mile
40.
to my house.
That's fine. I gave myself 40 in like 60 days to try to get in front of 40 of them and then try to convert like between 8 and 12. So if I can get 12 attorneys, refer me one deal a month, then I'm happy.
That's right. 20
So,
is plenty. 20, two deals from attorneys over the year from 20 attorneys give you 40 extra transactions.
I got
And
one
then
that's already given me 2 this year, so we'll see.
yeah. So you got that, and then you got, on average, you should be able to close 12 to 50 probates. I know it's a wide number, but so if you could get up to about 50 probates from PRs and then 40 from attorneys, and then social media, YouTube's bringing another 20. Having a business that has about 100 transactions in one niche is glorious. It's amazing.
Yeah, Mel is great at that. Mel, the probate attorney, she's super cool at the
Yep.
YouTube. I definitely have to get on that. But yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, welcome. I'm gonna have to get going soon. I forgot a tech was coming to work on one of our printers, so maybe another 5 minutes. If anybody
Okay,
has a question,
we have
Yeah.
Rigo
Christine or
next.
Rigo,
Yeah,
Rigo,
yeah, how you doing? Hey, I'm
good
I'm
man.
new to probate, so I really appreciate this, but I'm really good with
Welcome.
I'm really good with foreclosures, and we're running into a lot of probate. Hence the reason I'm here. Quick question on the what we've figured out is like by having the website and the YouTube channel are obviously using AI, which is pretty amazing. Um, cranking out the videos, cranking out the articles
Yeah.
on the blog. Um, in other words, being the expert in our space. I guess
Yep.
I haven't looked you up or anything, but I would imagine that that's what you're doing, and that brings in the organic leads. Am I correct?
Yeah, and I'm not doing as much video as I used to. I need to
Uh-huh.
get back to that. I'm actually gonna add that. My goal was to add it this quarter. We had a
Uh-huh.
lot of deals going on, so we kind of put it off.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm working on getting I've got one interview on Thursday with an attorney that
Uh-huh.
stops foreclosures actually. So,
Yeah,
it's a matter of getting one video with an attorney, then doing some shorts, just being present out there. So that it's always that cross reference of people that, like you're saying, it's just like being a celebrity in the movies or TV. Once
yeah.
they see you enough, they're gonna call you all the time.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And, being former military, it's all about,
That's right.
range of an excuse is 0 meters. You got to be really
Yeah.
consistent. Yeah.
Are y'all doing any mail, Rigo?
You know what, sir? We're not doing any mail as of yet. So
Need
once
to.
again, hence the reason I'm on here. Just I purchased the it was originally purchased it from the FBI dude that sold it to Bruce, right? So the probate and the probate mastery, and then of course for the attorney stuff. So I'm gonna go over all that, and
Oh,
then
Chad, the FBI dude. Yeah.
yeah, that guy, right?
Yeah.
And
I forgot he was FBI. Or at
yeah.
least he was gonna get hired or something.
Yeah, he went down to Colombia or something like that, dealing with Pablo
I've got
Escobar.
the highest pistol score on the Quantico course, or
Oh,
used to.
Really? I was
I
a
got
great.
let's just say I got a perfect pistol score, not the
Well,
highest.
I was a great machine gunner. How's that sound?
Yeah, there you go.
So basically, as far as the AI is concerned that you're doing, because I'm a developer, right? And
Cool.
I'm definitely going to be incorporating a lot of the. I'm a Python dude. I love Python, right? So a lot
Okay.
of the AI stuff. And the last question, I don't want to hog anything up. The Spanish speaking clients, are you sending anything out? Or when you run into them, do you have like translators or something like that?
You just remind me I need to add that back too. My
What's that
wife
now?
speaks. My wife is Hispanic, so
Uh-huh.
every once in a while we'll. Uh, in probate, we don't have a big problem with it because I noticed the Spanish speaking ones were really the tax delinquent or the code
Uh-huh.
violations.
Uh-huh.
But probate, I didn't really run into a lot of people that would call need Spanish over English. But for
Yeah.
tax delinquent code violations and then foreclosures, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
mess.
Yeah, I handle that stuff actually for
That's cool.
foreclosures. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, you've answered all my questions. Thank you, sir. I
Yeah, you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. And good for your
Yeah.
score too in Quantico, whatever.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Thank you. Long time ago.
All right,
20
there
years.
you go. All right, awesome. Thank you.
Christine, I got to go after this one. Sorry.
Thank you so much for taking my question. I am a new real estate agent. I have a probate and trust and a senior certification. I started buying pre-probate leads. I'm only getting 28 a month and I have 3 months worth. I've been sending out mailers and haven't heard anything. And then I want to start following up with calls, but I would just like your advice if you have any about pre-probate and how to handle them when I make my calls.
I think the best way for pre-probate is to have blogs and articles and then videos on all social media sites, and have that inbound phone call come from that influence. I don't know what they're selling to you as a pre-probate, somebody that has an affidavit of heirship, or I would focus on buying the actual probate filings. Those are the
Okay.
ones that are motivated to make a move, and they are at the point of making a decision. I don't
Okay.
know why they sell pre-probate. That's like chasing after the ambulance, I guess. Maybe it's
Okay.
described to you a little different. But I focused for a number of years to build up my blogs and to try to get traffic in from pre-probate. And I do need to do videos with attorneys and all that stuff. And that's going to probably close that circle and get the leads coming in. But yeah, I'm going after motivations of distressed property. So I want the probate's going to be the best margin. So even if the leads are expensive, that's why they are expensive.
Right.
You're going to get more business from sending letters to probate than a pre-probate lead that you don't know what their motivation is. Are they just transferring the property to a family member outside the courts with an affidavit or something? It just doesn't, they already made a decision to do something with that real estate most likely. So they
Okay.
don't need a realtor.
Okay. All righty. Well, thank you for your help and your time.
Yeah, welcome. Sorry to kill that lead source for you.
No, it's okay.
Yeah. All right. That was great, guys. Let me get off of here because I gotta figure out my printer prints 100 prints and then it just pauses. So I've gotta figure it out. And that's our big boy that does 52 a minute. So I appreciate you guys. If y'all want me back, just let Bruce know, and I'll.
We want you back.
I figured. If
Thank
anyone's
you.
sending high level letters out, or Rego, if you want to invest in our system, we are selling it to save you 9 months of development time. And you're buying leads and you intend on doing at least 4,000 to 5,000 letters a month. It doesn't make sense to do anything less if you're not doing 30. You're doing less than 1,000 letters a month. You could do 30 a day and be successful with that. You don't need a system. You don't need to pay anybody to do it. It's better to just be handwritten. I started probate with a sticky note and then a yellow piece of paper, and I handwrote every letter, about 2 sentences with my signature on it, said, please call me, and sent it to the probate. So, and I got, that year I did 8, and that was in 2014. So, and then I convinced them to list with me because I paid for the repairs of the house, which is horrible, and I don't do that anymore. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank you,
much, Dave.
David.
Bye.
Thanks
Thanks,
so much.
David.
Bye.